You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me, Randy Newman.
When the road looks rough ahead and your miles and miles from your nice warm bed.
That's perfect. There's a good intro right there.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Franchise Unpacked. I'm your host, Zach.
And this is Dave.
And he's also your host.
I am.
I don't know. I never started with I'm your host, but it sounds official.
We're your hosts.
We are your hosts. So, as you guys know, right now, all of the Instagram takeover, Disney fun stuff is fully in swing.
Blowing up.
Oh,
Kim
yeah.
and I are having a ball down here in Florida.
So
it's great. Magic.
Shifting time and
I'm
space.
shifting. I'm able to teleport.
Yes.
But it's really, really cool because we realize that we're going to do this episode on Toy Story. As you know, our episode today is on Toy Story. But as of today, May 3rd, Friday, Kim and myself should be in Disney's Hollywood Studios at the brand new Toy Story Land that they just opened up this last year.
Which
we have not
really
been
excited to hear about that. There's going to be a mini-sode coming up with that.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's going to be posts about toys. So they might already be on the Instagram by the time you're hearing this. But today, Friday, May 3rd, we are at Disney's Hollywood Studios. There's going to be a bunch of pictures and videos of all the new rides. There's a Slinky Dog roller coaster, I know.
Yeah.
There's an alien bumper car ride,
so
I know.
cool.
We can't wait. We have fast passes. We're excited. So be paying attention to the Instagram. That's at Franchise Unpacked on Instagram.
Yep.
The rules are, we've been getting a bunch of email submissions already with answers. So just be paying attention. Every day there should be 1 to 2 posts with a question, and we'll highlight them. They'll be known that there's a question related. Some might have bonus questions, so you could get 2 points.
We've actually been getting more emails just to the email address in general, and that's been awesome. So thank you guys.
Yep, and that is at franchiseunpacked at gmail, or I'm sorry, franchiseunpacked at gmail.com.
Okay, so I got to say something really quick that's non-Toy Story related before we dive in. So last week's episode, we were talking about the Avengers.
Yeah.
I got it bad. I got it bad from Dave and Kurt, and I deserved it.
A lot of heat.
I deserved it. So I actually, as I said in that episode, I wanted to, catch a little bit more of the MCU and all that. So I ended up going and watching Black Panther. That movie was incredible.
It won an Academy Award.
So good.
A couple Academy Awards.
So good. And I did, there's still so much that I feel like I want to talk about from that episode. So we're definitely going to be tackling a part 2 of Avengers.
Oh, yeah. Because of Endgame, the fact that Endgame's out now, we haven't seen it. We're going to have to cover the end.
Yeah. And so, there's going to be more to that. And this is my solemn promise to you as our audience. I will have watched everything within reason in the MCU before
At least
then.
all the Avengers.
At least all those.
And then Black Panthers. I would watch, did you watch Ant-Man?
Yes, I did.
Okay, because Ant-Man and Wasp, it's okay. It's an okay movie. Yeah. It's okay. It's one of the meh. But there's a very important plot point that does occur.
Okay.
That for specific to Ant-Man. Yeah. But it leads to
and I got the new Spider-Man game for PS4.
So we'll be doing another Spider-Man episode now that Zach's played.
Oh my gosh, it's blown my mind. Okay, anyway, enough about that.
We digress.
Yeah, I could go on and on. But yeah, I was just blown away by Black Panther. So today we're diving into Toy Story.
We are.
Which it's insane to think about because this franchise has been around forever.
1995. 1995. I was 7 years old when I saw this movie.
Yeah, so I would have been 5.
Which is nuts. And Zach and I were talking a little bit before, like we said, it was in 1995. And now at that point in Disney's, and it is produced by Disney and Pixar Animation Studio. So it was Pixar's very first film. I remember it was the very first time you saw that hopping lamp flop on the logo.
Well, they had done some like short films and stuff before.
Some short films. And there's some really very interesting early graphical concept cuts of Toy Story you can see, and it's a little frightening. It almost looks like the whole thing took place in Sid's room.
Well, because you remember the short that kind of inspired it all, and it was called Tim Toy. I have it in my note.
Tin Toy,
Tim Toy, not Tim.
Tim. His name's Tim.
His name's Tim. He's a toy.
I am a wizard.
The baby in that short film.
It was crazy.
It is the most terrifying thing I've ever seen in my life.
It looks like a baby doll. But you know what they're going for.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the human baby playing with the toy.
Like they spent too long on the baby's face and not enough time on anything else.
Well,
it
then
was weird.
you get to see in Toy Story a lot, in all the movies, really, there's usually like a creepy baby doll character.
Yeah.
I remember in 3, there's Big Baby. It's just like a big, there's usually like kind of like a Mongol, like, it's usually got like an upside down arm. Or there's the Spider Baby in the first one. Yeah, that's like a Wild Wild West.
Yeah. Which that was actually, I don't know if you knew this, that was actually inspired. A couple of the producers or creators of the series, they used to do that with their toys.
Oh, yeah.
They used to take apart their toys and reassemble them, and they were like, well, that was our creativity. That was like, that was just their creative
They were
way
SIDS.
Yeah, they were SIDS, and that was what inspired it.
Speaking about the Toy Story Land that we're going to today in Hollywood Studios, the whole design, from what I understand, and I'm going to get as many pictures of it as I can, down to the point where there are benches for people to sit on made out of quote unquote popsicle sticks.
Yeah.
And you can see the stain of whatever popsicle it was to color them. And they said that like the Slinky Dog roller coaster, the idea is that Andy got a roller coaster toy, but then he started modifying it. And you in the park as a toy see all these modifications he made.
So you are a toy in the park.
Once you enter the land, you shrink down to the size of
That
Woody.
is awesome.
Yeah. So you are running around, army men are running around the park playing, like messing with you. And
That's so cool.
So stuff like that's going on.
Oh man, I really want to.
I'm gonna get. You will see all the video footage and pictures. Be checking out the Instagram, Zach. But like we were talking a little bit before we started recording, and so in the early to mid 90s, the Disney's animation was in what a lot of people call the Disney Renaissance. There was, you had Beauty and the Beast, you had Little Mermaid, all these big movies were coming out, all these big animation movies, huge cartoons. Yeah. And I mean, Disney, like we mentioned, first and foremost, Walt Disney was a cartoonist. He was an animator. This is where, he made the money to make his world.
Right.
So,
right.
And the thing was, by the mid 90s, at least personally, and I'm going to catch a bunch of flack for this.
It's okay. I got most of it from the last episode.
But like you started having movies like Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Tarzan was 99, I think. Mulan. It was this. I consider Tarzan the end of the Renaissance, and I call it a hard end.
You think so?
It's not. It's
not
my favorite.
After Mulan, right?
It was 99. It was 98 or 99. And it's the movies that they're good. I like Mulan.
I like Mulan, yeah.
Hunchback's okay. Hunchback's creepy and very,
I
very scary religious wise.
Yeah.
It's very scary. But they're not, Mulan's not she's a princess, but she's not a main, she's not like Pocahontas, not a main tier 1 princess.
Tier 1.
I'm serious, tier 1. No, but like they're like kind of the subsidiary movies. And I think, Disney, the very first time they used computer graphics in a film was for Beauty and the Beast, the ballroom scene. That's in any movie, actually. That was the very first use of CGI in like a film like that. Yeah, a film scene.
Interesting.
And so I think they were like, well, we may have to change the game, getting away from, hand drawn. We're already getting into digital, coloring and stuff. We got to, try and make a new art style, I guess. And then here comes Pixar. Like, we got it. We are going to completely revolutionize.
And this was early. For computers to be able to do that. Yeah. It was early.
95. I don't know how many people can remember what their computers were doing in 1995. It wasn't much.
It wasn't 3D animation.
I had a Gateway computer. A Gateway 2000 that could handle like nothing.
I remember my grandparents had this just like old, and their computer was like top notch.
Oh, sure.
And I remember it had Doom and it had Commander Keen, and it was able to run these
all those DOS games.
Yeah, and that was incredible graphics at the time. That was like top notch.
But this was I remember going in as a 7-year-old and being like, this is full 3D graphics. And like I remember starting to see some cutscenes out of Sony and PlayStation. Because they had CD-based discs, and they were starting to do their cutscenes, make them look a little bit fancier, a little cleaner than the rest of the game. Yeah. So it was a kind of I remember, especially in like Final Fantasy VII, for some reason that really sticks out. Because you have your polygon-based people, and then they kind of clean it up, make them look more humanoid.
And like what was it? Xenosaga was also another series that was kind of hitting those graphics early.
And you knew they could do it, but you're like, wouldn't this be cool if they did like a whole movie or a show.
Well, and
think of the
and
possibilities.
on top of it, it was John Lasseter's first feature film.
Very first.
Can you imagine
film.
that being your first Not only is he tackling this new field, and he had done some shorts before. He did Tin Toy. I'm looking at a little list here.
But
he did,
shorts, we have to put emphasis on. These are 3 to 5 minutes max,
and they didn't look great.
It wasn't great. He didn't have Disney funding,
right?
Like Pixar was fledgling at best.
Yeah.
If you look at the logo of like the lamp coming in, that's in the short. And remember I think the first digital short was the 2 lamps playing with each other, just playing with the ball. And then they stomp on the ball. It was just like a quick. I don't know if there was any other digital short before.
Like almost a tech demo.
Yeah, it was almost like an expansion of just the Pixar logo.
Yeah,
you saw 2 lamps as opposed to 1 or something, and they were just hopping with the ball or something, or pushing it back and forth. And then, but that we bring that up because ever since then, every Pixar film has had a digital short, something unrelated in front of their film, like a little 5 to 10 minute, and they always win Oscars, and they're always the most adorable thing you've ever seen.
And I mean, John Lasseter, am I saying that right?
Lasseter, yep.
Lasseter. But I mean, he went on and he did A Bug's Life, Toy Story 2, Cars. Let's see, Cars 2.
Which, not one of my favorite Pixars.
No, but
it's
I mean,
okay.
But he's done a lot of big animation since then.
Oh yeah.
But it's just it still just boggles my mind. Like, this guy kind of pioneered what 3D animated films was going to be, for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
23, 24 years now.
Literally set a standard. I mean, kind of like Walt did in the beginning with, Snow White. It's like they were inventing things even back then. The layered, I don't know if you've seen that, where they would build. There's just layers
like
of layers. It looked like
paintings
glass. And they were giving you almost 3D imagery. It almost kind of like a diorama effect where you're looking down a tunnel at all of these layered images. And I remember the intro to Snow White. You're just, how did you do this in the 30s?
Well, and there's a reason, and this, I got to hand it over to Disney. There's a reason that all their stuff still holds up. You know what I mean? Snow White still holds up. All these old Beauty and the Beast still holds up. Toy Story. You go back and you watch these, and it looks a little bit dated, but it still works and it still looks beautiful. All of it.
I remember there's a quote. I forget who it was. He was a French architect or something. And it kind of timely with Notre Dame and stuff, with the tragedy over there, the fire. But
which was just horrible.
There was real terrible mess. But he was at Disneyland back in 1985, and he walked up to the castle, in Magic Kingdom, and he stopped dead in his tracks. He's like a famous architect, and he looks up, and one of the spires on the castle is an exact, he thought, a replica of one of the spires on the Notre Dame church.
Really?
Yeah. And he went up, he left the park that day, and he messaged his friend who was, I believe, an Imagineer or something design oriented at the parks. And he said, how long has that spire been on that castle? And he goes, 30 years. So 1955, when the park opened.
Yeah.
And he goes, who put it there? And he goes, Walt. And he goes, why did Walt put that there? He goes, well, he went to France. He went to Notre Dame and saw it, and he loved it. And he asked how much it would cost. It was something extravagant, like $100,000 it cost to make a replica of it and put it up there on his castle.
Really?
And they said, because he's like, he wanted I don't know if he got some crazy, because I mean the church itself is like 900 years old or something.
Yeah.
But he hired some like crazy French architect, another guy, to come and put it on the castle. But moral of the story is, long story short, the architect heard that and he goes, wow, you know what? That you got to hand it to Walt Disney. He looks at something, knows he doesn't need it, then he does it so well, you realize you needed it the whole time.
Right.
Everything, you don't need to put that much money into it. You don't need to make it that exact or that
particular,
looking good or that big. But then once you have it, you realize, of course you did. And you needed that the whole time.
That's something that I think Disney has done very well, is that when they have a creative director, and whether it's Walt or someone else, when they have somebody that's, being the captain of their ship, they allow them to captain the ship. And obviously it's always a team effort, but there's an amount of, hey, this is the way that it's going to be. This is the vision. This is what has to happen.
Yeah. I think it's a clean kind of a double-edged sword. It's I'm going to set these rules in place, but I brought you in because I trust you.
Right.
I'm setting these guidelines because I have a company to run.
Yeah.
And there is visions that we have to adhere to. However, it's like they buy Lucasfilms. Okay, what I would do, I'm just going to increase your money flow.
Yep.
You have set a standard of 40 years. There's a reason why we bought you, and we put your stuff into our parks. Like we are, and same with Pixar.
Right.
It's like you guys are clearly
do they
setting a
own
standard.
Pixar now?
They did. And now I it was a little foggy. I tried to do as best research I could on this, but when Zach and I do legal research, it's foggy at best.
We are not legal.
I was stripped of my law degree. I have a Georgian law degree, and I was stripped. I don't want to get into it, but
you didn't pay enough to the Nigerian prince.
Sure, yeah,
exactly.
No, not that Georgia. I meant the state of Georgia.
Oh.
I could practice law in Georgia.
I thought you were going for the country of Georgia, like you were.
A nice southern, the southern lawyer who's always patting his head down. Now I might just be a simple country lawyer.
Right.
That's how you start every sentence.
Okay, but anyway, see, I was going with the Nigerian prince thing.
Yeah, right.
Different directions.
That's another issue I have. I'm in years of debt. But from the research I got, Pixar was owned by Disney. Now I believe they are their own separate entity because Disney now has Disney Animation Studios.
Okay.
Which I believe they did like Frozen.
Okay. Yeah.
And stuff like that. I know, because I think it's one of those things where it's like, Pixar probably owns stock. They're probably still partnered. Disney Animation Studios is probably a subsidiary of Pixar. Yeah. It's all the same people or whatever, but it's just, I believe the Pixar name is now.
It's funny to me too, like not to like change topics, but it made me think of it. How much the animation has evolved in the more recent years, especially. Yeah,
I just watched the first one like a couple days ago, and it's astounding.
And in Toy Story, and this was something that I found in my research, I didn't know this, but all of the human models are modeled either after Andy or his mother. Yeah, they had two, and when you see all the kids in like the little landing at the bottom of the stairs, it's all Andy. It's
in
like
the first
six,
movie?
Yeah, it's like six little
at
Andys.
his birthday party.
Yeah.
Even his little baby sister, you can tell. And Sid's
It's
next
Andy's
door.
face, yep.
Sid is like the only one who's exaggerated. He has freckles and big eyes and kind of like buggy looking with the braces.
Yeah,
but because he was in fact, he might be the human character you might see the most. I mean, Andy's in there, but I guess, the act 2 of Sid's house is Sid heavy. Yeah, it's very heavy. Well, and his mom, and then his daughters or his sisters there too.
His mom is a unique model that she doesn't look like Andy. But
also, speaking of Andy's mom, awesome. They have a strong single mother. Throughout the entire series.
Do you know why they did that?
No,
because they couldn't afford to animate the dad.
That makes sense.
They literally
get rid of the dad. Yep.
Well, they didn't have the money to, and then when they were kind of debating it, the writers and the director, they were like, you know what, we don't need a dad for this. Like, the dad will serve no purpose, and they intentionally never explained it because they were like, the dad is inconsequential to this story that's happening. And really it is.
The parents in the Toy Story movies I've noticed are adults because, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Toy Story 3, Andy becomes an adult. Like he goes from 17 basically to 18. He's going to college. Right. So he becomes one of these adult characters. And the adult characters are really there to further the plot of, a lot of times it's just location change. Yeah. In the first movie, they're packing up to move. And that's and then she sets the rules of like, okay, Andy can't be in his room right now. So he's been called to dinner or something. So it's like, they're kind of like a Deus Ex to further the plot of the toys. Yeah. It's kind of makes it entertaining because it's like the toys get so good at sneaking around
and it does
knowing like the parents don't really care.
It roots it in reality a little bit. Cause I think one of my favorite things that Butch Hartman, the creator of Fairly Odd Parents, had said, he said, kids love having secrets.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's all Toy Story is. Toy Story is this big secret about these toys that come to life. And actually, I just remember this. Wow, I forgot about this entirely. I was watching Toy Story when I was probably about 5 years old is when it came out. And my older brother, he's 7 years older than I am. While I was watching it, he was taking a toy next to and I knew that I had a toy. There was like a Power Rangers, Megazord toy. And he put a crayon in its hand and he wrote a little note for me. And then he goes, Zach, look. And I was like, oh, the toys are alive, just like in the movie. I was so excited. Yeah. And it's just, but the thing is, that was that was the secret. You know what I mean? That was like, as a kid, I was like, this is happening. Like it makes you kind of feel like that magic can happen.
And it's kind of what you always want. It's like when I was a kid, when you play with toys, you're acting, you're creating a little act for these people to do. And it's like, oh, what if I didn't have to be here for that to happen?
Right.
It's the idea of, and the funny thing is, though, when no kids are around, the toys get so straight to business.
Yeah.
And it's so adult and like unionized, and they have like announcements, and it's like an office. It's really, really funny. And like, oh, that was a great, you gave a great meeting yesterday. It's this really funny kind of, that's for the adults.
That scene, that sort of State of the Union scene with Woody, that was the scene that underwent the most rewrites, actually, in the first movie.
Which also we gotta talk. I mean, this Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Annie Potts. This movie has
Jim Varney,
the late great Jim Varney,
They actually redesigned Slinky after Jim recorded his VO because he was so animated. They were like, we need to change the design of Slinky Dog.
So he's all walking around. But Don Rickles also passed away. But his he will be in Toy Story 3. They are using old. He passed away in 2017. I'm sorry, Toy Story 4. He will be in the new one coming out this June. They're using old recordings.
Oh, okay.
But Slinky Dog is actually played by Jim Varney's best friend now.
Really?
And one of his, I believe, creative partners and acting friends. But
that's awesome.
He can do the voice exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, and a fun little fact for those of you who do decide to go to Toy Story Land or Pixar Pier in Disneyland in California, if you ride the Slinky Dog roller coaster, sit in the front. Because he talks to you the whole time.
Really?
Yeah, the dog head will talk to you because you're riding him. You are on Slinky Dog. So
well, and that's a funny thing too. Like anytime you see merchandising of Woody, it's not Tom Hanks.
No.
They brought in his brother, Jim Hanks.
Maybe
I need to look.
I know he's done a lot of work as Tom Hanks.
Yeah, he does.
His body
I would have to look up his.
Has he done his like lighting test on like body double stuff?
I'm sure he's had to have. But I mean, he does all of the VO and he sounds just like him. And so like anytime there's a Woody toy, and actually, I don't know if you knew this, Woody was inspired by a pull string Casper doll.
Okay.
Yeah, like an old school Casper doll that had a pull string, and that's what inspired the whole like Woody.
I always thought it was like Chatty Cathy, but there's a snake in my boots.
But yeah, I mean, a star-studded cast, and so the first movie obviously is very. It was originally called You Are a Toy. They were considering calling it You Are a Toy just because of that big scene with Woody and Buzz. You are a toy. You're a child's plaything.
I love when he calls him Bud Light Beer. I still poop my pants. That's so Mr. Bud Light Beer.
Right.
That's so funny. Well, that's the great thing too. Disney, all those winks to adults.
Oh yeah.
Even like we just said, the State of the Union scene, that's not for the kids.
Right.
That's like, I laugh at the fact, like he's talking about how there's like we gotta take shorter coffee breaks or whatever.
Yeah,
like that's definitely for the adults.
It's but I mean, there was so much in that first movie, and a lot of the obviously were really hitting the first movie hard. Yeah. Because the second movie, let's be honest, was
I think they're all very good.
See, I love the first and third one. The second one, it's not
with Al's Toy Barn.
It's not that I don't like it. It's that I've seen it probably 6 or 7 times. They
played the hell out of it.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it didn't have as much of an emotional hold for one reason or another.
I agree with that.
It doesn't sit. It's as strong with me.
I think because, and like I said, that Toy Story 1 and 3 have that. They bring the human emotion element in. These kids, even though like we're moving our house, we're moving. So this is even like as an audience member, I don't care about your house. I care about the toys and your relationship with these toys.
Right.
This move, though, that's a big step for families. That does get you a little bit.
Right.
Toy Story 3, Andy's leaving. He's grown up.
Yeah.
I cried twice in that film.
Ooh,
I'll say it.
It's a tearjerker.
But when he gives the toys to Bonnie, you're like, that's really amazing. And the best way to do this instead of leaving them all in like the care center.
Yeah.
But I think in two's lacking. It's because the toys, they're going to get Woody solely. There's no, like, or at least that I can remember, heightened human problem. Oh yeah, Andy might not ever see Woody again.
Right. And there's the whole thing with Al.
But we're not seeing Andy struggle with that throughout. Right. So there's no real... So the coolest thing was, though, you could tell all the money came in to Pixar and the franchise.
Yeah,
because
it looked beautiful.
when Al refurbishes Woody, that whole montage when he's like fixing him up and like sewing him, it just looks, you can see the reflection in the eye.
Yeah.
Watching from the first movie to that is just, it's
nuts.
leaps and bounds.
It's nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And what, before we go too far into 2 and 3, I did have one other sort of fun fact written down about 1. Originally Pizza Planet was called Pizza Putt.
What? So it was a mini golf?
It was a mini golf.
Oh, that would have been cool.
They changed it because they wanted something for Buzz to feel like he had reached, Star Command.
Yeah, the aliens.
So they changed it to Pizza Planet to make it more Buzz oriented.
Which is another great thing, because Zurg is the bad guy of Pizza Planet. He's also the logo of that. But it makes in the squeaky alien toys. It's funny because, again, we're at Disney World. We've been on, there have been pictures posted of Buzz Lightyear's Astro Orbiters, one of my favorite rides. But the aliens are all over that, the little space aliens. But it's ramshackled in the idea that Andy put together this toy box. The aliens are now part of Buzz's. It's like you have Bo Peep and Buzz playing together. Right. They're literally two separate, not even related wise. But Andy, as a child, is like, yeah, Bo Peep's going to be his girlfriend in this. Or, Mr. Pig is Mr. Pig is going to be the bad guy with a mustache and an eye patch. He'll be like in this scenario. You know? And that's so much fun that like. I have to believe these creators and the designers of this movie sat their children down, gave them a bunch of toys, and just said, go.
Well, and everybody's had that experience. I mean, I super vividly remember even like, we were acting majors, so we did it probably for too long in our lives. But I remember sitting down and play. Yeah, it was just the other day. This was before we started. But I remember sitting down with Bionicles, those like Lego knockoff things. Yeah. And I would play with those for hours. Yeah. I would sit down and make up scenarios.
And I try to think about it now. Like I had all my Star Wars toys that I played with and ran around. I couldn't tell you like one plot that I was how. And if I sat down and played with toys now, like you just get bored, because it's like. It's
because
weird.
adult life limits you.
Weird.
I remember specifically when I was playing with Bionicle, I did something and I ended up making myself laugh to hysterics and I had to stop playing because I made one kick the other and the other was the bad guy. And as he went down, I made him go, "You fool!" and I just I caught myself off guard with it, and I just,
why is he doing that?
Little Zach was just like dying laughing.
And that's the thing, like mentioning I had all my Star Wars toys, I would just recreate scenes. I was literally, so I had no imagination. I was just doing it myself.
Right. So,
and then I got video games like, I really can do this myself.
Oh yeah.
That became our toys.
So Toy Story 2, huge improvements technologically speaking. But
adding a lot of new characters. Jesse.
And that was really kind of when they expanded the world. You saw that there was more than just the back neighborhood where Woody and Buzz are.
It's not just these toys. Right. It's not just the Pizza Planet toy. Right.
It's this whole world. And also the aliens were voiced by, I believe, Pixar staff. They would suck helium and then do the voice.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
so they would just
get. And a very cheap.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I bet it's someone now. I bet it's after the first one, they it's gotta be
I'm
consistent.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
they're basically it's like the Minions sort of. It's like what voice?
And so before we get to Toy Story 3, I did want to bring up there were some games.
There were, and I had one of them.
Yeah, which one did you have?
I had the Game Boy Color one, I think. I
don't know if I ever played that one.
Side scroller, very hard, jumping.
Was that a remake of the Super Nintendo one?
Maybe, I'm sure it was. You were Woody. I remember running around Andy's room.
Yep,
and
that's a remake.
Very difficult platforms to get to.
Oh yeah,
and you had to collect a lot of stuff too.
You had to collect a lot, and it was like you could be hit 3 times.
Yep.
Everything was an obstacle. Everything would hurt you.
Everything would hurt you. Other toys that are like your friends.
Supposed to be your friends. And
it was one of those games where it's like, oh, you guys literally just took all the skins and didn't pay attention.
Right. And it sold. I mean, everybody had it. I think I still have a copy.
Oh, yeah.
I think maybe the last time I played it was when I had 10 out of 10 gaming with Wes.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if we played that on an emulator or if we actually hooked up the Super Nintendo. But that game was solid. They had an N64 one that I didn't play a lot of that one. And I did
full
pull,
3D?
Yeah.
You
were like running around the rooms and stuff.
Like
so yeah, there was
cool.
I mean, I'm looking here. There weren't too horribly many.
They are in the new Kingdom Hearts game, Kingdom Hearts 3.
Right.
You become a toy. I think Woody and Buzz are teammates.
So, and I feel like this is one of those video game franchises that, let's be honest, we're not here for the video games.
No.
You know what I mean?
And the only thing I could think of, a brief glimpse into, for at least just for the video games for future of the franchise, I'd just like to see a really cleaned up open world. You're a toy running around collecting stuff, like a Mario 64, basically, because you're not selling this game to adults.
Yeah, I have some thoughts that
you could have like fun little, like you could have a racetrack level, like if you wanted to race your friends. If you wanted to play multiplayer, you could. Or it's just like a big kind of, or like the Lego games. It's literally scenes and then a lot of collection, and then you can explore the world and keep collecting and getting
nothing
bonuses.
wrong with that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty perfect.
And so then we jump up to Toy Story 3.
Yep.
Which, you talk about that animation quality jump.
Stunning.
It did the same thing. It quadrupled from the first to the second, and it quadrupled from the second to the third.
Exactly. Yeah. It's funny. Now the fourth one's coming out so soon. There's really not much of a leap graphically. Like if you look at compared. But
I'm sure it rendered a lot faster.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure. Yeah.
But I mean, 3 though, like you said, it brought in more of that human element. And it brought in more of like, you had to relate to Andy. And
we had grown up with Andy, literally. Yeah. He was going to college.
What year was Toy Story 3? I'm going to look this up because...
it was 2 years ago?
Was it? No, it was more than that. Toy Story 3. We're doing this live, folks.
I don't think so.
Toy Story 3 was 2010.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so actually there is going to be a huge graphic. 2010?
Yeah, but if you think about it, for those of us who were watching it when we were 5, 6, 7 years old, we had just surpassed 18 when this came out.
Yeah, we were in our last years of college then. I was at least.
Yeah, and I would have been
you were a freshman.
Just starting college. Yeah. So, that whole generation and those, people that were a couple of years younger than me even, can you imagine growing up with those movies and then the character that you've been following is doing what you're doing
and
like
give away the toys.
Oh my gosh, no wonder it makes all of us cry like little babies.
I mean, damn you, Pixar. They are always up. Come on.
We can't even talk
5
about
minutes in? What are we doing? Disney.
And I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a great scene.
Oh man.
No, then it just rips your heart out, stomps it on the floor.
You just started going, no.
Yeah.
No. Oh man. Anyway, but yeah, they know how to the heartstrings. They just know how to hit you where it counts.
Yeah.
It's what's more important to a kid than his toys.
So what's now I haven't we're getting kind of into the present of the franchise now.
The present future.
Yeah, because I realized that because we're so nostalgic, we've talked for way too long on the past. I didn't look up a whole lot of what's going on in the fourth movie.
What I know is Bo Peep is back. She is.
And she's a little bit of like a BAMF.
Yeah, she's kind of got that whole Mad Max Madame Furiosa sort of thing going on.
Which is cool. They're making her strong.
From what I understand, she's at a carnival. She's been on her own, living on her own, not having a kid, to play with.
Yeah.
Her. And she's like, I'm loving it. And what happens is Woody, so Bonnie brings home a new toy she made that's a plastic spoon with like a bunch of stuff glued to it. And it's voiced by Buster from Arrested Development.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're
Tony
talking
Hale.
about.
Okay, he's voiced by Tony Hale. So, and he becomes anime because he's now a toy. So he gets a spirit and he's like, what am I? And he's like freaking out. And Woody's trying to help him.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so Woody's trying to be he's like, guys, this is Bonnie's new favorite toy. We got to welcome him in. And the spoon keeps freaking out and running away. And then him and Woody get separated. I think they're on like a road trip and they fall off a truck as per usual.
See, I'm already intrigued. I'm already like, I want to see this.
So Buzz it's kind of like two. Buzz is leading a team to go find Woody, and then Woody's with Bo Peep, who's trying to convince him to stay. Kind of like Jesse. A bit of a rehash of two, it seems like.
Yeah, well, and by the time this episode is airing, this movie's coming out next month.
Yeah,
it'll be 1 June.
Month. Yep, coming out June 21st, I believe.
And that's just, I don't know. I'm going to be really excited for it, and I think that the only thing that I'm, I guess, on the fence about is I loved how they kind of wrapped up Toy Story 3 with a bow and said, you're done as a franchise. Like,
It was
you're
like
good.
you're with another child, you're safe.
And
I
yeah.
felt so safe.
and
Yeah.
it felt like a satisfying ending that I guess I worry that they're going to Disney it and they're going to go too far and they're going to make 1,000 iterations.
What I worry will happen is that it's been 9 years since 3.
Yeah.
Bonnie hasn't aged 1 second. What I'm concerned is they're going to start, every movie that comes out will be toddler Bonnie. No time progression will occur anymore. So it's just going to be issues with the toys like this next movie is going to be. I love Bonnie. She's adorable. And she is truly the new owner and a good owner of the new toys who will appreciate them. However, as a 30-year-old, even as like a 10 or a 12-year-old going to see Toy Story 4, they're not going to have that connection like I did to Andy.
Right.
So it is going to be about the toys, which is not a bad thing.
No, not at all.
Because it's called Toy Story. But like at the same time,
I wonder, and who knows? This movie's not out yet, so there might be.
Yeah, we are grossly speculating.
Yeah, there might be a big human aspect to it.
If we weren't wrong, we'd be hired by Disney to write their movies.
Right, exactly. and maybe I would have seen all the Avengers first.
I haven't gotten the They call you like, wait, you haven't seen them? No,
no. Okay.
We rescind the offer.
And you have a podcast?
I'm calling you on a rotary phone.
Hello.
It is Walt. It's Walt's head.
Yeah.
It's just that I'm like you. I'm concerned that they'll just start pumping them out.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, they've got this new Toy Story Land.
So they're gonna do
promote
at least one more.
They gotta I don't think we're done with Toy Story for
a while.
It's going to be a while. Future. Why stop that franchise?
Yeah.
Why? It's like if like Black Panther so spoiler alert, in Infinity War, when Black Panther disappears, he's one of the people who gets killed in the snap. I laughed. Everyone's like, oh no, I'm like, guys, he just had the biggest Marvel release of all time. It's a brand, literally his movie came out a month before Infinity War.
Right.
You think they're just gonna, and same with Spider-Man. They kill Spider-Man. I'm like, he just had a huge release.
He's not
you think they're going to get rid of him?
Yeah.
No.
Not even a chance.
It's like, if you haven't heard how many contracts he's signed, like just think of it from a money-making standpoint. It's like, unless Disney's just blindly writing movies. I gotta say though,
that's one thing with modern movies that I hate.
Oh,
because
we used to not get trailers and stuff, dude. Remember that? The good days of no spoilers? You'd have to go to a movie to see a trailer.
And not hearing publicly what is bought out contract-wise, because that, in a sense, I think that ruins for me
behind-the-scenes pictures.
Yeah, well, but that ruins a lot of the MCU for me. I shouldn't say ruins because I still love all the movies, but it's like, okay, well, I'm not worried about how Spider-Man's going to fare in the next movie because he's got 6 more coming out.
Yeah. It's kind of the same thing too. People are like, well, this is how they defeat Thanos in the comic books, and like this is how it's probably going to happen in the movie. I'm like, guys, yeah, we can all speculate. And I know it's like people who get upset for, oh, you don't know how maybe Lord of the Rings ends. It's like, well, the books have been out for 70 plus years. You're like, yeah, dude, but okay, I haven't read all the Avengers movies. Right. And it's like, and I'm not going to get butthurt if it doesn't turn out like it did in the comic. Trust me, because, but yeah, I our whole in the last 20 years.
Well, and I guess the one nice thing with Disney Pixar is they'll announce their movies, but they don't do it 6 years in advance. You know what I mean?
Disney does. They do those huge timelines where it's like, these are all the comic book movies coming out for the next 10 years. Oh yeah, they got them slotted.
Like Toy Story though, right? Like
they do that. Yeah, they have like Toy Story. They at D23 is the expo every year.
Okay.
They show like, hey, here's Pixar's next 10 years of production.
Oh, well, then I stand corrected.
Like, that's when they announced Toy Story 4, it was a huge deal because they're like, yep, it's coming down the pipe.
Yeah.
I heard about Black Panther like 4 years before because they had announced it at one of those type of things.
Wow.
I had never, ever, I knew it was a superhero, but I didn't even know he was an Avenger.
Yeah.
But because they announced, and Ant-Man, same with Ant-Man, I was like, oh, okay. You're making these, what?
I would love to see a movie about Animal Man. Have you ever read those comics?
Turned into animals?
It's like there's a total digression. He takes on the abilities of animals.
He's like an animorph.
So, well, he doesn't like actually morph, but like, he's like, there's one part where like if he's getting shot at, he can take on the skin of a rhino.
Oh, cool.
And like
he adapt
just, like, like takes the properties of it.
Is it Marvel?
It's no.
Kind of sounds like a weird Spider-Man villain.
Yeah, no, it's not Marvel. It's I'm totally blanking on it.
Not Dark Horse or one of those. Not DC.
It might be Dark Horse. I'd have
One
to
of
look
those
it up.
weird sub guys who.
Yeah. But anyway, I digress. So getting in, kind of more into the future still, I do want to talk a little bit about potential video games.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's going to be more kid geared, but what would you want to see out of a video game?
Yeah, kind of like I touched on a little earlier, open world, collecting stuff, collecting
Now,
toys, saving toys.
Open world? Do you mean open world, or like somebody has a big house and it's open house?
Andy's house, or one of the houses, sure. Or you can, you can play the neighborhood. You can go into other houses.
Oh, that'd be cool.
You can choose to go to Pizza Planet, and you can play the parking lot. You can play the stores around it. Al's Toy Barn could be near it. It could be like a shopping area.
I wouldn't be opposed to that. Like,
kind of like big open maps.
I was thinking about, having it be the open neighborhood concept.
Spyro.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or Mario 64, jump into painting sort of stuff. Just go off to an
now
area.
we don't have those technical limitations, so we could really have it be something where you find a way in order to get outside.
You need the race car.
Yeah. You got to get in the race car, or you have to find a clothesline to get to the next house.
Or the little remote control car that they always drive around. Yeah. Or attach a rocket to it so you can go even further. At the end of Toy Story 1.
So that you can get to Pizza Planet. Like, I would love to
different
see
toys
something
can
like
get
that.
you into different houses. Like you need Slinky Dog to stretch out.
And the thing is, as an adult, I would play that.
I would play the hell out of it.
If they made a thing where you could play in Andy's house and get to the neighborhood, and all
you
this other-
choose your toy, but then you can switch into other toys while they're as you unlock them. And you could even make it multiplayer. Have it. It could be a lot of fun. There could be modes where it's like Andy's coming, where it's like a stop and go, or rumor has it, I'm going to try this while I'm at the park today. That if you go up to, I don't know if they do this anymore, but if you go up to Jesse or Woody character actors and you say Andy's coming, they drop to the ground.
I heard they stopped doing that.
I think it was like they either hurt someone or fall. It's a health issue. So I was like, dang it, I wanted to do that.
Right,
so
you
bad.
wanted to be a part of your experience.
It's wonderful. But just something like that as a video game. I don't need like an RPG or something.
No.
You got that with Kingdom Hearts. You can play if you want to play that. Sure.
And honestly, I mean, regardless of whether it was Toy Story or not, I'm a big fan. I don't know why. I've always loved when you can be miniature.
Oh yeah.
In video games, like you can, because it's just a different perspective. Like
if done well. Yeah.
I've been learning 3D modeling lately. I think I might have talked about that in another episode. And I'm just thinking, like, man, it'd be so cool to model out, because you can build games in Blender.
Think about cool, like an Ant-Man game done well.
Yeah.
Like and we now have the graphic capability of like, you're in a big area and then you suddenly shrink down. I've seen games, they have that. Like there are games like it. The issue is rendering speed, like getting you down to that size quick. Like if I wanted to play an Ant-Man, you want to be able to big, small. Like that's the whole idea. His fight style is that. So if you could do it quickly enough.
And even with a Toy Story game, I mean, they, like you were saying, they could have it almost like a party system where, with pressing left or right bumper, you can switch characters. Mm-hmm. Every character does something different. Buzz can fly. Woody can use his string to climb up something.
Yeah, the Slinky Dog can stretch. Or
like have each one with a special power and make it a puzzle, or make it something where like, here's how do you get to Pizza Planet as your final location?
You can't get to Sid's room yet.
Right.
That could be like a way down the road, because it's A, on the second story, and B, like how are you getting in that house, and how are you what toys do you need to get up there?
And like you can, have to unlock other toys, save other toys to get them.
You could having like, especially now with like the fun video editing and stuff, you have your toy do your thing and then it stays there on the map doing it. So you could have like, you take then a picture of a chain of toys getting you up to something.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
And it could have the freedom of, you don't necessarily have to use all these toys. If you do build a good enough puzzle, you can have several different characters doing almost the same thing, but in in tandem or in different ways.
Well, you know what, guys? We are actually out of time.
We are. I got to get back to Disney World. I got to get back into the parks.
Lucky.
So be paying attention to that Instagram, right? Be paying attention to the Instagram. Send all of your answers to franchiseunpacked@gmail.com. Do not, unless you want to just comment on how nice things look or how cool it is. Sure. Don't put your answers in the comments. Just, you don't want to spoil it for everybody.
Right.
So, and what we're doing is we're counting anybody who, please email in every day. The more you answer correctly, the more points you get towards getting the Disney gift box.
Yeah. So, and it's going to be pretty killer.
We've already got some real goodies.
Am I allowed to enter?
Yeah, you can enter. No, I'm bringing you home. You'll get something.
Okay, cool. I want to enter this.
Right? I know. Yeah, it's a lot of cool swag. Definitely, there is some Toy Story stuff in there too, because of the episode and because I am here today at Toy Story Land. So we definitely want to get some toys for you. So thanks for listening, everybody. Be paying attention to that Instagram.
And I know we always say it, but you guys, seriously, thank you so much
Blowing up.
For being our listeners and for rating it on iTunes and following us on Spotify and all that stuff.
And being guests on our show as well. All the previous and future guests.
I get at least a text a week of like, hey, I want to be on the show. And I love it because we love having guests. It's so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
And we
makes our job easier.
We usually have to share a mic, and then I end up like without a pop filter, and all my bees are like, "Pah!"
That's all right.
So that's why. But I just love it. I mean, I'll share a mic any day. So anyway, I digress. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will be seeing you next week.
Catch you later.
Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. The next franchise we'll be unpacking is Mario. But in the meantime, feel free to drop us a line with any questions, comments, or future episodes at franchiseunpacked@gmail.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and Spotify, and be sure to share so we can keep these episodes coming your way. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.